Something I came across that stopped me in my tracks. My daughter-in-law sent me a link to an Etsy shop. I opened it up, so I'm scrolling through it, and this gal had made a sticker, and the sticker said this, and when I read the sticker, that's what actually stopped me in my tracks. So here's what it said. It said, pause to see how far you've come. And I was like, oh boy, do I need to do that today. And so I thought I would come on and say hi to you and ask you that question. When's the last time have you paused to see how far you have come? Those of us with mold illness, chronic illness, and life-threatening things going on, it can be very hard to pause and find good and find what you've accomplished thus far, because a goal, we haven't achieved the goal yet. You know, our goal is over there and we're still here working through this. And to read that line of pause and see how far you've come, it made me think, okay, what in the last 24 hours or so can I be proud of? What's something that I can celebrate, that I've been able to participate in, or something that's changed, something I feel good about? And you know, the first thing that came to mind, actually two things came to mind. Though I'm in a very hard place right now, health-wise, with my nervous system being dysfunctional. Until the nervous system gets healed, I will still be dealing with this mold illness. And so it's a layer that we've got to work through before we can really tackle heavily the mold that I have in my body. And the most recent challenge has been finding a osteopathic cranial doctor. We found one. It's 2.5 hours away. I've been driving, then camping, and then driving home, you know, just working through all of that, with also having this illness that takes a lot of energy out of me. So to be reading this today of pause and pause, see how far you've come. First thing that did come to mind was a couple weeks ago, in the midst of this I just feel like it's a very busy season of working through healing. Had an opportunity to do an interview with the brain retraining program I'm in. And so I did that interview, and I have the original copy of it. And I celebrate that. I celebrate that I had joy. I celebrate that I could relate the joy still in the journey of chronic illness, and the joys of all the different things that I have been able to accomplish or been able to overcome. Because it's not always about accomplishing things, but maybe overcoming. And that was a beautiful interview to me. I just felt good, felt confident, was honest of, here are what the struggles were, here is how I've overcome those different things, and here's what I'm grateful for. And so that to me was a huge celebration, and to be able to capture that on camera. So eventually you'll get to see that when it's done. The brain retraining program is doing the editing and such and writing up the story. That joyful person is not always me every day. You know, to have all that energy. That was a good day, a good energy day. And it has been tough over the last couple years to just get to a farmer's market. So this is the second thing that came to mind. With my illness, it's very difficult to just get up and go. And especially for me to be somewhere early or before noon or before 1 o'clock. And so in the area, there's a farmer's market weekly. And my goal has always been one day I'll be able to get up early enough, have all my things done, already have made my breakfast, already gotten myself ready, already have done. The season I'm in now is I'm now doing brain retraining classes. So that's part of my morning routine. So accomplishing all of those things and still have time to get somewhere before 1 o'clock is a challenge. And because 1 o'clock is when they shut down, but they start packing up around 12:30. So really to get there by 12:30. So why am I sharing all this? Because in the last month, I've been able to get to the farmer's market, the local farmer's market, twice. And I can't tell you the last time I've been to a farmer's market before they closed, to be able to get fresh vegetables that do not have any sprayed chemicals on them. So I'm excited. So last week, I got there 5 minutes before they closed, and 2 different people still had some vegetables sitting outside of their vehicles. The first one was a box of these beautiful, well, not these green ones. I froze those because my granddaughters picked them for me, along with a few of the others off their tomato plant. That was a praise from this past week. But all these different colored tomatoes. 10 of these pie pumpkins. The goal is to also roast those. And then yesterday, I was able to get there once again, but I just went up and said, do you have any green vegetables? And I also asked for pumpkins, because I can't get pumpkins year round. So I was able to score 1 pumpkin, and then some zucchini and a bag of green beans. And then the other things that I had were these squash and some fresh garlic. And that to me is a huge praise, and that's a huge pausing of seeing how far I've come. I was able to get there and not be winded. You see, there are days when every day I wake up, I try to do my routine, but after that, then what energy I have left, I have to decide what to use it for. Cleaning that I need to do, is it for an errand I want to do? And to be able to go to a farmer's market, to me, that's a treat. But I have to have the energy to, once I purchase it, I come home and then I wash everything down. And so I have to count the cost of activities that I do. And a lot more pre-planning, because also yesterday I had to make sure I had my meals. My meal before I left, a meal for when I'm out on the road, because many places that I go don't have a restaurant that I can eat at. And so meals are going with me. But I'm getting better. I at least was able to get out and get some veggies. For those of us with chronic illness, I know you can relate. Sometimes there's just these activities like going to a farmer's market and just even browsing without shopping. It still takes effort to get out the door and do those things. And you know that after you leave, you're coming back, there's also steps you have to do of protocols, such as showering, changing the clothes, washing the things that you buy, all that good stuff. So we don't just hop in a car, go, come back, and that was, an hour of an excursion. Our hour of an excursion usually takes hours ahead of time of prep and hours afterwards of protocols, just so that we could accomplish that one thing. So I accomplished it, and I'm glad. The week before, several weeks before, I've wanted to go, but I just didn't have the energy to do it. And so I just had to say, no, not today. Nope, not today. So give myself that kind of grace. So may I ask you to pause and see how far you've come with your chronic illness or the situation you have been working through. please pause. Please celebrate how far you have come. Let's celebrate who you are today. All right. Remember, you can be well, even while ill. And I am rooting for your friend. And thanks for listening.